Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore. My name is Frank Mastoris. I am the practitioner of the day, and I'll be leading morning meditation. Welcome. If you would just get comfortable and take a moment to settle in. Allow yourself to take in a deep breath and release. Take another breath in and release. Take a third breath in and release, letting go of any of the cares of the day. To help us focus in on meditation today, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to tap the top of your head and bring your hand down to the side of your face all the way to your heart center and your heart. That way it would help you focus in on your heart. And think of love. Think of opening up your heart and probably the one thing you love the most in life, or the one person you love the most, and allow yourself just to feel that love. And open up and let your heart just love. Feel the love. Feel the love energy. We know because of quantum physics that there is no space where we are separated. Time is just a man-made construct. So invite into this meditation in your own mind and in your own heart your relatives who are alive, and your family of choice, the people you choose to love as family. Into this moment of the here and now, because it really is the only eternal now. And invite into this time-space moment, this eternal now, your ancestors, those who have gone before you. All of them. And bring into this awareness and invite in your family and your friends, your family of choice and your friends of choice from the past. Who've left form. And just allow yourself to feel their presence. Invite into your awareness your descendants, your family yet to be born, and invite into your awareness your family of choice yet to be with you and your friends yet to know. And in this moment of the eternal now, allow love and healing and forgiveness to happen. Allow yourself to just love each and every one of them, regardless of the past relationship. Regardless of the slights, regardless of the pain, regardless of the abuse. Let forgiveness be the truth of your life. And just be present in this moment of the eternal now. And then this moment of the eternal now, invite into your awareness and invite into your awareness your deep connection to God within. And allow this awareness, this deep love that you have with God within, just to touch the people who are and have been and will be part of your life in this eternal moment of the now. Any place there was hate, let there be love. Any place there was pain, let there be healing. For in this moment, there is transformational healing for every generation, all the way back to the very beginning of where time started, what we call time. And every place into the future, let that be where the appearance of future is. Let that transformation come forth and forward through the family lines in the eternal now. Now is all we have. Now is all we will ever have. And just allow this to continue. In the eternal now. Every lane, every one, deeply connected to God within in the eternal now. And allow yourself just to be in this now. Now that we've dealt with family and friends, let's bring in the culture. Invite into this very moment any need for cultural healing. Any place where there is separation and division. Any place where there's the appearance of separation by culture, gender, color of the skin, social class. Bring it all to the now. Bring in every appearance of separation by religion, and bring that separation to the very now. Because we know there is no separation in God. There is only the eternal now. Allow the deep lovingness of spirit within you to embrace it all. And lastly, but not the least, bring in the people who have caused you the greatest pain for whatever reason, whether they abused you, whether of a different political party that completely goes against everything you believe in, whether they're your enemy at work. For they are all expressions of the one. And allow the love that we are, that is God, in this eternal now, to embrace them. And allow yourself to come from and stay in this moment of the eternal now, deeply connected to God and to everyone and everything, and be fully present and fully awake in the chair that you're in. And allow yourself just to be. And so it is.
Now is the only moment. Now is the only moment. Be in this moment. Breathe in this moment. Love in this moment. Be here now. Be here now in this moment. Now is the only moment. Now is the only moment. Be in this moment. Love in this moment. Breathe in this moment. Be here now. Be here now in this moment.
welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Great to Baltimore's virtual service. I am Tracy Rhymes, your host. Our spiritual director, Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson, is our speaker. Come on. Our musician is Teporah. Serving as today's practitioner who led the pre-service meditation is Frank Mastoris. Assisting with making this service open, inviting, and accessible to the deaf community are our sign language interpreters, Renuka, Purimetla, and Theodore, Logan. On behalf of Reverend Dr. Ray, thank you for your service. At CSLGB, every Sunday is an Invite a Friend or Family Member Sunday. Make sure you invite someone to service by spreading the love. We would love to have them hang out with us. So spread that love and invite them to join us. Frank Mastoris has been on a spiritual path for a long time. He fell in love with God when he was 20 and has been on a spiritual path since. He has always been looking and searching for that deep connection with God. He has been involved with religious science since 1992. Having been traveling for his job, he saw many religious science churches at different stages in growth and development. He has served in the music ministry, the board of trustees, greeter, and hospitality service, TA for classes, and practitioner coordinator. He is here to serve the community of CSL Greater Baltimore and beyond.
And good morning. We'll be going into our morning prayer. So I'd like you just to center again and get comfortable. In this moment, I know that there is truly one power and one presence and one essence that we call God. And we call it God because we have no other real name for it. It is known by so many names in so many different religions, whether we call it God or Jesus or Buddha or Allah. It's all the one power and the one presence, that one essence that lives in this eternal now, that is timeless and ageless, that we could never be separated from because we are part of it. And I know in this moment that we live and we move and have our being in it, that we cannot be separated because we are only united in this oneness, regardless of the time, appearance of time, the appearance of space. We are all one in this eternal now. I know that this space, this time that we share together today, where Reverend Raymont speaks of the eternal now, it's perfect. I know this service is done in divine perfection. Everything flows easily and effortlessly. Everything is done, and all that needs to be shared is done in perfect mind and perfect form. I know that this community of love experiences itself in greater and greater experiences and expressions of the love in the eternal now. Greater and greater expressions of the oneness within it. greater and greater expressions of the living now. And I give thanks. And I release this knowing it's done in mind, it is done in form, it is done in perfection, and so it is.
The Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Baltimore's community, honors the world's religions. One tree, many branches. One mountain, many paths. One world, many religions and spiritual traditions. With the lighting of these candles on the first Sunday of each month, we not only honor each person on their select path, but we also bless them and recognize the light, the love, and the life-affirming nature of spirit as it shows itself in each path, in each practice, and in each person.
Honoring Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929. The federal holiday marking his birthday is observed on the third Monday of January each year. This year, that occurs tomorrow. And the opportunity to embody his legacy is 365 days a year. Today, we pause to remember and to reflect upon this legacy, which includes the active understanding that he was a fierce and unwavering advocate for human rights, which included the necessary possession of socioeconomic wealth and justice. As we pause for a moment of silence, let us take up the mantle of accountability and responsibility by asking, as he did, where do we go from here? Chaos or community? And so it is. Time for announcements. We have weekly ongoing ways to study, learn, and discuss. On the first and third Monday nights, the Sacred Contracts Book Club, hosted by Nancy Rosenberg. The Thursday night study group, facilitated by Reverend Dr. Ray. Sign up for the CSLGB newsletter, the CSLGB Facebook and Instagram pages, and get more news and information by visiting cslgreaterbaltimore.org or .com. The CSLGB community are assembling blessing bags for the homeless and less fortunate in the Baltimore area. We are requesting and accepting donated items for the bags January through the 21st. The bags will be distributed the last week of January. If you prefer to make a monetary donation that will be used to purchase items for the bags, you can do so by visiting the website, and note that your donation is for blessing bags. The list below is suggested items to donate. For more information on logistics of donated items and funds being collected, contact Robin Fahrenholt at 410-227-5765. Courageous conversations. Whew. The CSLGB C7 Core will have group and panel discussions with Q's and A's to encourage open, honest, and authentic dialogues regarding topics such as race, gender, and being LGBTQ. The next discussion will be held on February 6th at 11 a.m. If you are interested in more information about this, contact Reverend Dr. Ray. If this fundraising vision inspires you and you are interested in serving on the fundraising committee in any way possible, contact the chair, Renuka Purimetla, and come together to strategize the most effective ways to manifest funding. To get more information, meeting dates and time, and join the committee, send an email to renuka.purimetla@gmail.com. Here at CSLGB, where every Sunday is a great day to choose this as your spiritual community, your spiritual family, and hang out with me, the first step is to take the discovery class, which is offered online and can be taken at any time. Visit the website to learn more and enroll in the discovery class. The CSLGB Ministry of Education has upcoming classes. Jesus, the man, myth, Messiah, and metaphysical master and mystery. Woo, that's a mouthful. The class will explore who and what Jesus is to us today. Is he a historical person who actually lived? If so, what is the impact of this on us today? The facilitator is Reverend Dr. Ray. Class is Wednesday nights, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, beginning January 26th. The investment is a love offering. If interested, contact me, Tracy Rhymes. Spiritual economics. In this class, the focus will be on spiritual economics, which is tapping into the truth that sets us free from the problems of the human experience. Simply put, this class will change your life. The facilitator is practitioner Eugene Holden. Beginning Wednesday, January 19th, 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. This is an 8-week course. The investment is $270. If interested, contact Sue Monahan. For the full class descriptions and more information, you are encouraged to visit the website CSLGreaterBaltimore.org or .com to find more educational opportunities in ours and other communities we are partnered with. If you would like to receive a daily text and voicemail from Reverend Dr. Ray, type JOIN to 833-663-9021 to begin receiving your daily inspiration. You will be glad you did. Okay. On the count of 3, we shout, prayer works. Ha! Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Prayer works. Ha! Yes, it does. We, as a community, continue to treat and move our feet, knowing the truth for everyone around the planet. Prayer requests can be sent at any time via email to info@CSLGreaterBaltimore.org. All right. Teporah, formerly trained in composition, piano, and songwriting at Oberlin and Peabody Conservatories, as well as in Towson State's jazz program. Was raised in a musical family with an oboe-toting, guitar-picking mom and the music of the 60s and 70s to feed her soul. From Odetta to Debussy to Armenian rhythm, her music is imbued with a uniquely inspired fusion of musical influences. Teporah blends these together to breathe originality and life into her body of spiritually centered compositions and songs under the Monica, sorry if I mispronounced that, Love Rising. Teporah's newest project is with a music listening agency out of LA, where she is building a career in the TV, film, and ads world. Check her out at facebook.com/Teporah Music. I give you Teporah.
Good morning, beautiful people. It's wonderful to be here. This song is about staying in the moment and taking out those restrictions that our mind brings to the joy and the bliss that we can experience in everyday life if we just release into that. Walk, don't talk, listen to the wind whispering in your ears. Sit, don't go anywhere. Let the day stretch on, 'cause you can let your hair down, and you can let it be. Touch, don't be afraid. Let your passion guide your way. Love, don't blame. Open up your heart like the Milky Way, 'cause you can let your hair down, and you can let it be. Drink it slowly, never stop. Surrender to the moment in your heart. Taste every drop, fill up your cup again. Here, right here, listen to the song of your heart. Find the time. Stop the worrying in your worrying mind, 'cause you can let your hair down, and you can let it be.
Ooh, thank you, Teporah. I'm gonna get it together. All right. Frank returns to lead us in a spiritual practice.
Good morning. Today's spiritual practice will be contemplation meditation on a poem. The poem is by Vanessa Hughes. It's called Living in the Now. What's gone has made us what you are. So don't fear what's ahead. Put trust in what will be, and choose to live instead. Don't live in the now worrying what may or may not be. Take this moment in your time and live it totally. There is no time like the present. Breathe deep and feel alive. living in the here and now will help you rise and thrive. Now is all there is. It's the only time that's real. Let the future take its course and leave the past to heal. So allow yourself just to sit with those words. And now that we've been present in the now, come back into the space as we will welcome our beloved Reverend Raymont Anderson, sharing his fabulous message.
Thank you, Frank. Okay. Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister serving the Center for Spiritual Living Greater Baltimore community as our spiritual director. He has frequently been referred to as a Renaissance man and visionary New Thought leader. As a lifelong learner with a passion for self-development, personal transformation, transmutation, and transfiguration, he lives his bliss as a teacher, minister, author, visual artist, ASL performing artist, mentor, father, grandfather, and more. By giving people applicable tools and practices that enable them to live a more fulfilled life, recognizing, realizing, and materializing their full divine potential. His mission is to live, move, and be an active member of society who serves to educate, elucidate, and emancipate people and communities to awaken and empower themselves. ACTIVE is an acronym that stands for authentic, compassionate, transparent, inspired, vibrant, and empowered. I give you Reverend Dr. Ray.
Namaste and greetings. Good morning. So today we will be discussing this idea of embracing the now, being present in the now, recognizing that the present moment is a present, it is a gift when we embody it. In order to do this, we have to ask this question, though, does life seem to be passing you by? Well, what if there was a way to get back into the flow and experience more joy and more wonder on a daily basis? Well, recognize that there is when we start by embracing the now, today. Awareness and appreciation of wonder can only happen in the now. In fact, everything happens in the now, for there is no other moment. Now is that point of power. Author Mary O'Malley defines curiosity as the art of bringing our attention and our immediate experience together. In being curious in this way, by being present in wonder, we are transformed by coming into alignment with life. Now, I know that there are some people who said, but Reverend Ray, you can affect like with Reiki, you can send Reiki to your past self. So, and I say, yes, but when are you sending Reiki to your past self? Aren't you sending it now? If you're doing a treatment, aren't you doing the treatment now? Whatever it is that we are doing it now. And yet, there are those times when we are so immersed in the story that, yeah, I know it's January and yes, we're going to Christmas, that I know we get so immersed and entrenched in the story that we then become like Jacob Marley, bound to our past, link by link, yard by yard, mile by mile, recognizing that whatever stories we are telling right now about ourselves and about our experiences right now, powerful predictors of what we are going to experience individually and collectively. How we tell the story now affects how that next experience will unfold. We have an option to focus on, in the same way that Scrooge did, to focus on his life experiences in a way where he was curious to see what each of the ghosts brought him, the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future. And in the present moment of his now, he was willing to experience whatever he needed to experience in order to tell a different story, in order to be freed from the story he had been telling, the story he had been living based upon as a miser, as a tyrant and a dictator. He decided, he chose to tell a different story. Are we willing to tell a different story in order to have a different experience? In this moment right now, by embracing the now, are we ready and willing to tell a different story in order to have a different experience? Eckhart Tolle says, it is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living. Well, I'll do it, I'll finally be happy when the kids graduate and go off to college, or I'll finally be able to live the life I want to live when I can retire. I'll finally be able to, once tomorrow, once 20 years from now, once next week, once whatever that is then happens, then I will be able to really live my life. Once I have $1 million, then I can live. Once I get my degree, then I can live. Once I get certified, then I can live. Once I'm ordained, then I can start living. Are you breathing right now? Because if you're breathing right now, you're already living. You're already alive. Question is, are you living to the degree that you could be enjoying, could be embracing the beauty and the gift of this moment? Are you living in see, there's a difference between living and existing. Yeah, you're breathing, but are you truly living life with laughter and love and freedom and harmony? Are you living from that consciousness, or are you telling this story about someday I'll finally live? Someday I'll finally live when I have my house with a picket fence, Prince or Princess Charming or whomever. When I have the money I desire, then I'll finally live. Say what now? So let's pause and say, so in this story that we're telling ourselves, where is the focus? Am I so focused on my past with regrets and shame, with guilt and grief, that I'm unable to enjoy the gift of this moment? Or am I so forward or future focused with worry and fear and anxiety that I am also unable to be present to the moment, the power, the beauty in this moment right now? So what happens when we are more now oriented, more present? What happens when we let go of the past in terms of that is where our focus is? We let go of the future in terms of that's where our focus is. Our focus is on the present. So even while, quote unquote, we are planning for a future event, for example, my ordination. So I got ordained last February, but the ordination service tentatively right now is on the calendar for next year, 2023. While we are planning in the present for a future event, our attention is on the present. What are we scheduling, planning, organizing now? Rather than, but what if we send out invitations and no one that's worry. Well, what if COVID still, that's fear. Oh my goodness, what if, that's anxiety. Future. So even while planning for a future event, it's important to be anchored and grounded in the consciousness of the present and the point of power that is in the present. Far too often. We take life for granted and move through life on some kind of autopilot as though we are sleepwalking. Our thoughts are so focused on something else that life is just passing us by. We're not being present. We're not even being present in our own lives or for our own lives. We're missing out on the gift of life. How many times have people said things like, oh, the kids grew up so fast that like we weren't paying attention. I was so focused on work that I missed my child's first steps. I was so focused on, I missed their first words. I was so focused on, I missed their college graduation. I was so focused on something else rather than love and life in this present moment. That life is slipping by. Life is just passing by me. There's a movie, I can't think of the name right now. If I'm not mistaken, it starred Adam Sandler, where he had a remote control where he could fast forward past the boring parts of his life that he didn't want to be a part of so that he could just jump to the good stuff. But what he noticed was eventually, I'm going to fast forward 30 seconds. But then it got to the point where 30 seconds became 30 days. Wait, I didn't mean to miss that much. But your focus was to miss it because you tried to fast forward it. You were focused on something else rather than being present. Eckhart Tolle also says, if you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. Primary reality is within. Secondary reality is without. It's on the outside. As within, so externally. That's why we say things like, change your thinking, change your life. As our thinking changes, it changes our behavior. And as our behavior changes, it changes the external environment and our experiences. So getting the inside right means being more effective stewards and then living from that place, taking action from that paradigm and consciousness. As above, so below, as within, so without. As the universe, so the individual soul. It is all one. What happens in one happens in the other. That's why we understand and recognize that when Frank is praying or meditating, the consciousness that he is steeped in affects the entirety of creation, because there is only one mind, and that mind is God. So when Frank, who is anchored in and using that same mind, is putting into the vibration, then everywhere that vibration is, which is everywhere because that's where God is, then that is affecting everything and everyone. Everything and everyone is affected by what we think, what we say, what we feel, and what we do. Once again, this is why we are being called to be more effective stewards. Ernest Holmes says, all ideas are formed in the present, since there is neither past nor future to reality. And it's a capital R reality. So in other words, that means God, the universe, spirit. So all ideas are formed in the present, since for God, for spirit, for the universe, there is no past or future. There's only the present. Spirit is always infinitely now. So being mindful that whatever happened in the past, traumas, depression, grief, is healed in the present, right here and right now, so that whatever quote unquote future experience is then changed by our present change. Pause and breathe, because the question is, how often do we try to manage time? You know, I'm reading this book on time management. I'm taking a workshop on time management. Time management Say what now? You do realize that the only thing you can manage is what you are doing. You can't manage time. See, if you could manage time, then you could say, oh man, I'm late for work. And you could Doctor Strange the time and roll time back so that you're on time. You don't manage time. You manage what you are doing within the bracket that we call time. What you are doing between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m., what you are doing between that constructed thing called time, that is what you can manage. Don't try to manage time. Manage what you are doing with your life. Manage your thoughts during this thing called now. Manage your words during this thing called now. Manage your feelings and emotions during this thing called now. Manage your actions during this thing called now. And what we notice is forever, the eternality of the moment then opens up to us, and we notice greater effective change occurring. Sadhguru says, and I don't necessarily agree with the wording here with slipping away, but I'm going to give you his quote nonetheless. Time is slipping away for all of us at the same pace. You cannot manage time, but you can manage your energy, right? So an hour here in Baltimore is the same as an hour in China. Like China doesn't have an extra 5 minutes to an hour there. And England doesn't have a 5 minutes less than an hour here. An hour is an hour. So it's not about managing time. It's about managing the energy in the moment for what we desire to experience. Pause and breathe, because I know some folks are like, oh man, that's a lot of responsibility to take on myself. It's a lot of responsibility to take on myself. Because what you're telling me is I'm responsible for my thoughts. Yes. Well, but I'm responsible for my words. Yes. I'm responsible for my emotions and feelings. Yes. I'm responsible for my actions. Yes. I'm responsible for the story that I tell about time. Yes. So you want the story to change. You are the author. You are the creator of that. You get to change that. And just because we are, quote unquote, in the Toltec teaching, the dream of the planet, just because we are born into a dream that already exists based upon those who started a story 100 years ago, does not mean we cannot change that story. Right? Like, really think about that. We get to change the story of our lives, even when that story was not created by us. Do we choose to buy into that story and continue that same story? Or do we choose to tell a different story? Paulo Coelho says, when each day is the same as the next, it's because people fail to realize the good things that happen in their lives every day that the sun rises. Breathe that in. Each day, if it's the same old business as usual, same old day, same day, a different dollar. But say, what? It's not the same day. Yes, it is, Reverend Ray. It's the same day. It's just a different something, but it's the same day. Business as usual, ain't it? Same old, same old. Okay, so wait. Do you realize that you are telling that story, and in that, what you are doing is robbing yourself of the good things that can happen in your life in that moment, each time the sun rises or sun sets? Tell a different story rather than keep living the same. It's not Groundhog Day. Yeah, I remember the name of that movie. It's not Groundhog Day. You're not living the same 24 hours each day that you wake up. You have an opportunity to change. And even the character in the story, whose name I don't remember the character's name, even he caught on and said, wait a minute, I can change. It's the same day, but I can change. And he learned new things until such point as he learned enough and evolved enough that he started telling different stories, and then he was free from reliving the same Groundhog Day. Tell a different story. It need not be the same old business as usual. Is that living life or is that existing? We're not zombies. We're not here to just go and muddle through life. We are the infinite divine power and presence, life itself incarnating in, through, and as each and every one of us right now. And what it is not the same old, same old. It is an infinite power, an infinite presence of love and joy, wonderment. Do we acknowledge and adopt and embody that story in order to be free from the link by link, yard by yard chains of a past, guilt, shame, or a future worry and fear? If we want to be free, then we need to live in the present. Change the story. Live in the present. The present is the only place where our power exists. Now is when you heal. Now is when you hug. As I often say when I'm doing meditation, I can't rebreathe yesterday's breath. I can't re-hug Tracy yesterday. I can't re-hug her yesterday. I can't pre-hug her tomorrow. Because if I go upstairs and I say, Tracy, I want to give you a hug so you can save it for tomorrow, she's gonna look at me like, what? But you're not hugging me tomorrow. What you're doing is you're hugging me now. Yeah, but it's a hug for tomorrow. But I'm not gonna feel it tomorrow. I'm feeling it now. So the point of power, the ability to heal, to love, to joy and wonderment is now. Ernest Holmes says, here and now we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. As much as we are willing and able to embody in that moment, all of it is ours. Do you tell a story of lack and scarcity when it comes to friendship, love, self-care? Even with time, I never have enough time. I'm not good with names. I never remember anybody's names. Oh man, if you could, I'm just no good when it comes to, oh, if only, like, and I understand that may be your experience. Names are a challenge. But the moment you say, I never, the moment you tell the story of I never, you are laying the foundation for never in each now moment to continue to be your truth, your lived experience. Here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. Mary O'Malley says, curiosity is the art of bringing your attention and your immediate experience together. Be curious about your life. Be curious with wonder about your relationships. Be curious about your friendships. Be curious about whatever meal you are. Oh, wow. I wonder how good this is going to be. I wonder, be curious about, I wonder what ingredients they use. Be curious about, I wonder what this movie is going to be like. I wonder how it's going to improve my life. Be curious about all of the aspects of your life and your experience. Bring them together. And notice that's how we change. When we bring curiosity as a child, bring unto me the children, those who are innocent, those who have not been tainted by the collective dream, those who have not been domesticated to believe in the lie of their inferiority. They're not good enough. They're not worthy enough. Bring me the children. Come unto me. Unless you be born again as a child, unless you are innocent and pure, unless you are willing to shed the old paradigms of and stand bare and free of all of that, to move forward with curiosity and awe and wonder. Unless you do that, then yes, you're going to continue to experience the same old, business as usual, lack, scarcity, guilt, shame, and fear. That will be the tune of your life. But is that really what you want? Or would you rather explore your life with amazement and wonder? Explore the depths and the breadth of your relationships and your dreams. Explore your past experiences. Yes, there is trauma. Yes, I've experienced great trauma in my life. But when I approach the trauma in my life as though I am an archaeologist and I'm sifting through the sands of time in my life and I find things, there's a level of detachment, even though I am looking at it and I'm experiencing it. But now I am able to see it anew. I am able to see it for what it is, as an explorer, as a scientist, as a religious scientist. And then I am able to change the experiences. I look at it differently. Are you willing to explore? Are you willing to truly know thyself? Temet Noske, are you willing to do what the Oracle of Delphi invited all who would come before her at the temple? Know thyself. For it is only in knowing ourselves that we are able to grow, evolve, and change individually and collectively. Breathe. Ernest Holmes says, infinite intelligence is omnipresent. Because the mind of the universe is one indivisible unit, all of it is present wherever our attention is focused. And truthfully, it's present even when we're not focused. But what he is saying is we are bringing that power and presence to the point of our focus. Omnipresence itself is what you have access to right here and right now. So what are you doing with it? Einstein said you cannot solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it. You have to learn to see the world anew, see the problem anew, see the problem as already having a solution because it's present there. You cannot shift, or solve, or resolve, or heal a problem that we cannot or will not identify. So the first thing you have to do is identify. As you're exploring, what do archaeologists do? They identify, oh, this is a piece of pottery. Oh, this is a tool used for cooking or hunting. You identify it. Then once you can identify it, you know how to use it appropriately. You know what to do with it. So identify the problem and then shift the consciousness around it in the present so that the problem dissolves and allows the solution to said problem to take its place. And one of the ways we do this is by being mindful. So ask yourself, am I mindful or mindful? Is my mind full of all of the things I have to do today, all of the things I have to do today, all of the things that I have done, all of the sins of my past? My mind is so full, I can't keep track. My mind is so full, I can't keep track. My mind is so full, I can't keep track. Oh my God, so much is going on in my mind at any given moment. I have such a hard time concentrating and focusing because I got so much going on. I'm thinking about the past, I'm thinking about the present, I'm thinking about the future, I'm thinking about then, I'm thinking about you, I'm thinking about me, I'm thinking about what's going to happen. I'm confused because my mind is full rather than be present and mindful of what's going on now. If eating dinner, then eat dinner. Don't eat dinner while thinking of my next to-do list item, because then you're eating and you're done eating and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even taste anything because I'm so focused somewhere else. When we practice mindfulness, we find a great many benefits. Stress is reduced, our memory is supported, empathy increases, childlike wonderment is restored. It improves our cognition. There are so many benefits to being mindful and present if we're willing to practice it. Reverend Dr. Ray says, unpleasant things happen in life. Some are avoidable and some are not. And there are tools and practices that assist us in not only discerning the difference between these two, but in navigating them in ways that allow us to heal, to thrive, to evolve, and to live into our spiritual magnificence, where we then have great power to change the things that can be changed. Breathe. You right now can change not only your life, but all of life. And this starts by knowing yourself more deeply and allowing the real you, your true self, to shine brightly, if you're willing. Breathe. This week's practice. What things tend to distract you from being present? Job? Fear? What are the things that tend to distract you from being present? What stories are you holding on to that may be limiting your experience of good? What stories are you telling that are the very things that are limiting your good? And how much good are you willing to experience? Are you willing to experience the full expansiveness of all the good in the universe? Or are you limiting yourself because on some level you don't feel worthy of that much love, that much good, that much joy, that much power, that much of anything? Are you willing to experience more good? How much good? What is one activity this week, each day of the week? What is one activity, and start today, what is one activity that you can do more mindfully? Brushing your teeth, putting on a shoe, taking vitamins. What is one activity that you can do, commit to doing this week more mindfully? And then lastly, have a conversation with two people about a problem that you are experiencing in your life. What areas of your life are you trying to push away discomfort? And then simply share without needing to fix or offer advice. Simply share and be in the space of holding a curious expectation that the answer, that the healing, that the resolution already exists and that it will present itself to you. Breathe. This week's affirmation or declaration, I will say it first. And if you feel in alignment with it, say it with me on the second go round. I am present with what is. I open to the possibilities. I am present with what is. I open to the possibilities. I know there's no the in there. I put a the in there. I open to the possibilities of all that is. And we breathe. Breathe and avail ourselves of the infinite possibilities that this amazing being brings to us each time she sings. Put your hands together. And I heard Tracy upstairs fucking. Put your hands together as we come together now and recognize that Teporah is about to bless us and grace us with yet another gift. Much appreciation. Love you, Teporah.
I love you back. Feeling everything that you said so deeply. you called in all my favorite doctrines and spiritual teachings and brought it all together in a way that really resonated. So I love singing with everyone. So let's sing together. You can sing from wherever you are and we'll energetically exchange that way. So this is a Ricky Byers song that we all love called Spirit of God. It is about centering and just letting spirit guide you instead of you trying to intellectually guide your life. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me. 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 Whoa, I used to think that I had to. Used to think that I should. Scriptures told me that I had to be good. Now I love cause I want to. Now I love cause I'm free. Blinded by the Spirit. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me. 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 Whoa, I don't need any prodding. I don't need any luck. I wanna sing with all my heart that God is my all in all. I let go of my burden. Loving God made me free. Blinded by the Spirit. Whoa, the Spirit of God is upon me. 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 Whoa, I thought it was my duty, thought it was my job. Somewhere, oh, I believed that loving God would be hard. But loving God is a wonderful. Loving God is ecstasy. Thank God for my freedom. Let you know that the Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa, 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 the Spirit of God is upon me. Whoa.
Come on, folks, put your hands together. Come on now. The Spirit of God is upon me. It is moving in, through, and as me right now. And what is true for me must be true for everyone as well. Breathe. Thank you, Teporah. The Spirit of God right here and right now is upon me. The Spirit of God moves in my mind, my words, my feelings, and my actions, which is precisely why what we think, feel, say, etc., creates. Breathe. So it is that time of service where we demonstrate the law of circulation, because here at CSL Greater Baltimore, what we are doing at this present moment is manifesting and demonstrating the right and perfect location so that when we are meeting in person once again, we have the facility, the spiritual campus from which to operate in order to change, transform not only Baltimore City, but greater Baltimore region and the East Coast. And as far as I'm concerned, the world. So if you happen to be new, you may not know this, that the practitioner core of CSL Greater Baltimore, on top of their regularly scheduled tithes, they have also pledged $50,000 on top of their regularly scheduled tithes by the end of this year. The community also has a matching pledge on top of their already scheduled tithes of $50,000. Now, you may be wondering, so how I want to give, how do I tithe, how do I donate, how do I offer in order to, one, keep the lights on, pay for this thing called StreamYard, all of the nuts and bolts that go into the business aspect of CSL Greater Baltimore. But how do I also tithe into where I am spiritually fed and nurtured? We now have 4 ways that you can do so. 1, PayPal. 2, Givelify. 3, text to give. And 4, the postal mail service. If you ever want to know more about where to give, how to give, what's the process, or you forget these 4 things, you can always go to the cslgreaterbaltimore.com/give webpage and you will get more information. Now, did you also know that you can divide a certain portion of your tithes? You could say, I want 25% to go to youth and family ministry. I want 25% to go to the new building fund. I want 25% to go to emergency care, right? Like, you get the idea. And if you want to know more about, well, what are all of the ways or places I can give, divide up, feel free to reach out to any of the board of trustees or myself, and you will get that information. Breathe. So here at CSL Greater Baltimore, when we declare financial wealth and abundance, we are declaring not only financial wealth and abundance with this statement, but we are recognizing that we are infinitely prosperous and abundant and wealthy in our emotions, such as love and joy. We are also prosperous in our relationships, in the health and well-being of our physical bodies. We are recognizing wealth and abundance and prosperity in all areas of our lives where we choose to steward such abundance, wealth, and prosperity. So together, if this declaration feels in alignment with you, then let us say together, I joyfully, consciously, and gratefully participate in the law of circulation. I trust in the spiritual principle that says, as I sow into my beloved community, I demonstrate my awareness of standing not only in the flow, but as the flow itself. As I sow of myself, my time, my treasure, my talent, I demonstrate my support and engagement in my community's vision, mission, and purpose. I actively give as a demonstration of manifesting, of reaping the harvest of a world that works for all. And so it is. Breathe. Did you know that you're awesome? Like, one, yes, thank you for joining us today, but thank you for recognizing your own awesomeness, and thank you for going out in the world and living from that awesome consciousness. Thank you. Thank you for being you. And thank you for bringing you and your amazing awesomeness here. Today, did you know that after service, you can go log into the Zoom room for prayer with our practitioner on duty today? Well, you can. Once you go to the Zoom link is the one we used to use for service. Once you get in, simply type the word prayer, and Tracy will know to separate you into a breakout room with Frank for prayer. Now, in case you don't know, you can get prayer for all sorts of things and everything. So you don't have to wait for something to be going not so good. You could have things going great and want more great and get prayer for that. So Frank will know this truth with you. Also, today is board meeting Sunday. So if by any chance you want prayer and board meeting, when you get into the Zoom room, type both so Tracy will know you're going to do prayer and the board meeting. If you are joining in simply to fellowship, come on in and chat it up. If you're there for the board meeting, then once the board meeting starts, simply stay in the Zoom room and you will be part of the meeting. We are an open and transparent community, and the board meetings are open to the public. They are open to you. Thank you for joining us. Now let us anchor and ground in our closing benediction, knowing that all that was said is the truth of our being. Right here and right now, we tell a different story. Right here and right now, that is a story of being present. It is a story of being powerful. It is a story of allowing ourselves to be that which God is as us. The presence of God moves in me, through me, and as me. And what is true for me is true for all of us. There is only that which is love, incarnating itself, demonstrating and manifesting itself in, through, and as this thing we call our body, our lives, and the affairs of our lives, our work, our school, our job, our relationships, and all of this stuff. It is all how God is acting upon itself. And it is good when we declare that it is good and live from this point of goodness. How are we stewarding our actions, our thoughts, our feelings in this moment right now, this point of power? And so we surrender this into the law, knowing the law says yes. And we allow this to be what it already is: answered prayer. Good and oh so good, and so it is. Amen. Thank you for joining us. See you in Zoom.